FTX using Thai prostitutes to recover money? Question everything, trust nothing. Welcome to Debate Crypto. It's your boys, Keeper and Crusader. Actually, today we have a special guest coming on the stream. Many of you know this name. He's got the Playboy Mansion, the obviously the magazine Playboy that nobody's ever looked at. The man, the myth, the legend, Hugh Hefner. There he is. Hugh, how you doing today?
Guys, thank you for having me on. Greatly appreciate it.
You're looking greatly younger, but the robe and the cigar says it all, brother. What's going on, bro?
Got my victory cigar, bro. Got my victory cigar for when
you already bought the victory cigar. You think it's already over?
The Cuban.
It's already over. You would have a Cuban. Well, Crypto fam, listen. We've got the Trading Wars background on because we are almost there. It is starting Monday. I want to remind everybody, we've had a number of people, like quite a number of people jump in and sign up. We are missing some people putting their deposits in. So we just want to remind you, be ready for Monday. Make sure you deposit your money. And reminder, if you put in at least $100, you get 20%. It's a win-win, right? You want to try to keep up with these traders, get yourself an extra 20%. Yeah, take advantage of that for sure. We appreciate everyone for being here. It is Friday. We're going to have some fun today. Smash those likes if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed. Hey, follow us on Twitter. We've been getting quite a little uptick on Twitter. Yeah, just excited what's happening. Dude, let me ask you, Crusader, does the crypto space feel like, just because of some of the stuff that we have going on, some of the karate combat talk, some of like just all the stuff happening, does it feel like we're like having some fun right now? I feel like it does.
Yeah, man, I feel like this is the most fun we've had in this bear market, right? The bear market has been rough, has been nothing but down things. People have been very, sad, depressed, kind of just like very low energy, very low sentiment, like whatever, who's gonna watch the show? It's gonna be the same thing every day. But now Trading Wars is about to change that, right? Trading Wars is going to make it very interactive, very different from anything everyone's seen. Plus the karate combat, a lot of content creators getting out there to fight, right? Something that nobody's seen before. So I think it's getting there, right? And I think this could be the beginning, the first embers of that bull run, and how fun the bull run's going to be.
Bro, check this out. We found the culprit when we were looking at our dashboard. It's Crypto Al. Check this out. Doing it now. Trust the exchange and learned it now. I put 15 bucks in and was up to 65. Bro, first of all, if you're up 400%, bro, these traders got another thing coming, bro. Woo! Listen, bro, we have a dashboard that shows us everybody that's depositing and signing up and all that. And we could see that deposit. And we were like, well, whoever this is doing good, right? Like with a small amount of money, like they're doing freaking good. I'm wondering why somebody that's doing so well trading put in 15 bucks. But hey, listen, gotta trust the exchange. I will tell you guys, listen, I want to throw this out there. We use ZoomX for a reason. A, we like the fact that they're no KYC, but B, CryptoFace referred us to them. And if you guys have never seen him trade, he trades with large dollar figures, and they have always been good to him. I think he actually has some friends there at the exchange. So just throwing that out there, guys. We would not lead you towards an exchange that is not a trusted exchange. So Crypto Al, keep killing it, bruh.
Dude, they've got a lot of good benefits. I've tried out a few different exchanges since I started trading. Their slippage is very low, which is good, especially if you're putting in limit orders. And you don't want to get sucked into a trade when you're not at the actual price point when the slippage is higher, and that happens in some exchanges. It doesn't happen on ZoomX. Yeah. And as well as the 20%, it's a good thing to take advantage of.
Yeah.
They don't just also not require KYC. They also don't require VPNs. Not saying not to use your VPN. Go ahead and use it. But I'm just saying some exchanges you are required to use a VPN to jump over because you are geo-fenced out of it from where you're located. And that's not the case with ZoomX either. So that's one less hurdle to deal with.
I actually think I was thinking about this last night because we've been doing so much with Trading Wars, and then guys will jump into it. But I was thinking about this last night. I won't be surprised. I'm not even kidding you. I was thinking about this. You know how there's just people out there that just get lucky, right? They just do, right? They just have that little stroke of luck.
Yep.
I could see somebody winning this that's like not a trader, right? Like somebody that like tosses in a few $100 and like hits some high leverage. They were like, yeah, we're going to the casino today, baby. And then they hit something big, and then they're like sitting at the top of the dashboard, like, yeah.
Dude, I mean, the audience has two advantages. One, they get to trade all day, right? During
That's
the most
huge.
liquidity times throughout the day. The traders are going to be tested heavily, like they were saying on the show yesterday, during times that might not be the greatest to trade. But the second advantage is when the show is running and the traders are making trades during difficult times, they have the chance to somewhat see what they're doing and kind of copy that trade to their best ability, right? Maybe change the leverage on it,
Yeah.
maybe change the price points of taking profit or your stop losses on it to their advantage. So it gives them two different trading styles. They can trade on their own style, and they can kind of go based off what the pros are doing on
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of freaking fun. I'm looking forward to it. So Monday, guys, 2:45. Remember, we've been going live at 3. It's 2:45. So set an alarm, do something. We're gonna have about 15 minutes of game planning, kind of strategizing between the team, and then the hour long of trading. So we're super excited about that. I want to just throw this out there real quick when we jump into the chat. Patriot Caveman, your t-shirt is on its way, brother. I know it took me a little bit. I do apologize. I literally said to Crusader, what was it, a couple days ago, I said, bro, I haven't sent Patriot Caveman's t-shirt yet. And you're like, bro, your ADD is so bad. So, dude, it's on its way. Like, it's officially been mailed. Should be to you in a couple days, dude. So I appreciate you, bro. All right, let me jump into the chat real quick.
Yeah, go
Let's
ahead.
see who was first. The man, the myth, the legend that's been killing it on the trading. Crypto Al said, here, bro, I'm not even following y'all on Twitter. I'm slacking. Jeez, man. Well, I'll tell you what. You've been a big part of the stream lately. We appreciate you for being here, bro. We've got Green Day Profits in the house. Patriot Caveman, as I just mentioned. Dude, I've tried this so many times, and I always get it wrong. Ofni Crypto. He's told me before. I always screw it up. Yeah, and then Saguchi in the house and Alex O Crypto. Thank you guys for being here. All right, let's dive in. Let's take a look at the markets. We got a lot going on today, guys. Some fun stuff. Crusader, I think what are we talking about? We got the Grayscale Bitcoin stuff. Stick around for that. That's interesting.
Bitcoin stuff is the biggest. We also got IMF pretty much declaring somewhat of a battle war against El Salvador and their Bitcoin stance, and a few other things that are interesting right now.
And if you guys like prostitutes, SBF and the FTX scandals, here for you, bro, because apparently they were into that as well. So we'll dive into all of it. Let's take a look at the markets. Let's go there. The global crypto market cap is, let me update, 1.05 trillion with the T dollars. That's up 0.62%. Wow, we're green. 26,738 for Bitcoin. ETH at 1520. I wish it was at 2542. 1542, up about 1% almost. Tether, our Tether's down, bro. It's down 0.01%, 99 cents. Bail, BNB's at $205. XRP, wow, 48 cents. Just keep on depressing me. Solana's at $21. They're down almost 9% though on the week. I don't really know what happened there. Cardano's down almost 8% on the week. They're at 24 cents right now. Dogecoin down below, same thing. Boom. I think, hold on, is the whole market down that much? Is that why? Well, yeah, because Bitcoin's down 4 and ETH's down 6. I wasn't thinking about how much we were down this week, and then Tron rounded out the top 10 pretty flat at about 8.5 cents. Crusader, do you have any TA that you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I actually do. By the way, Patriot Caveman says, just signed up. Now everyone's in trouble. Good to have you on board.
Hey, man. that's the same guy that said that he doesn't know how to operate a computer. So hopefully the exchange treats you a little better. Yeah, exactly. He's the dark horse.
Bitcoin on a boating accident. Right, that kind of guy. Yeah, the link is in the chat. Actually, it's pinned to the chat. So if you guys haven't signed up, make sure you click on it, sign up, get ready. We're rocking and rolling on Monday. So let me show you here that some little bit of TA that I got going on. This indicator that I found is actually pretty interesting. It's called like the Gaugation. I could be saying that completely wrong.
Probably.
But it's something along that. The only thing I want to point out is on the weekly, right? We're on Bitstamp, or we're on one of these that has all the data from back in the day. When it turns green, it is green for a very long time, right? It got the entire bull run from 2019, even with
I wonder how lagging that
right
is,
pandemic.
because you do get a big drop. You do have a big drop. It
Yes,
must be going
right,
when you show that there, it must be saying
right.
like, hey, it's still a higher low,
Yeah, this is
right?
definitely still green, even though we were already coming down in
Because
2022,
it's
right?
still a
It
higher
wasn't
low.
until
Yeah.
like almost halfway through
Okay.
2022, June, May, yeah, the end of May, basically June of 2022, say, hey, this is bad. We're in a bear market. This is red. So what I'm saying is, in its history, it's been pretty good at predicting the bear markets, right? This is the bear market of 2018 all the way through 2019, practically 2020, right? It's red, and then boom, it goes green, and it stays green throughout the entire bull run and even some part of the bear market as it begins. We've been green. We've been green this July 2023. It went green, right? It flipped. But if we look closer here at the actual candles on it, it looks like we're making a little bit of a head and shoulders here, right? Well, shoulder, head, shoulder. We come all the way down to retest.
Yeah.
If this is the weekly, remember, this is a big time frame. If we break down, if this actually plays out and breaks down, it could be very bad. It could, take us to that 20,
20.
possibly even, lower than 20,000. But at the same time, would this be the first time that this indicator gets invalidated and it would actually turn red after such a short term being green? I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that a lot of people like to point out, head and shoulders are the most common to recognize. Therefore, a lot of people get scared of it, but most times it gets invalidated because of that same reason. So easy to see it. So let's jump over to the my other Bitcoin chart here, where I can trend this off and I can see some bigger levels here. Second. So, like we've been tracking here, right? This annual PIV, we're sitting right on it. Once again, we're sitting on the annual PIV, which is very, very important. Let me get rid of this regression trend here. Let me jump down to the daily. Here we are. So, once again, annual PIV, we're on it. We're bouncing a little bit off of it. Not looking too great, right? We got the whole moon cycle thing happening this weekend that everyone's looking into. We also have the ETF delay, or whether it's going to get delayed or it's going to get approved or it's going to get rejected. We're going to find out. They have till midnight tonight for the SEC to say
Yeah.
something. Is this a fake out, right? Is this oh my god, it's dropping short. Then I don't know where the news comes out and bam, you're just skyrocketing straight into that 30K price point or whatever it is because the ETF got approved. So I don't know. I think it's something to look out for this weekend. I think we are in a temporary, sideways crab market. A lot of people are getting scared here, seeing this break out to the lower side. If we break below 26.1 and we make a new low here, then we're definitely in trouble. That's mostly what I'm looking at right now. We cannot go below 26.2 or whatever it is and close a candle down there, because we'll make a new low and then this pattern will kind of really just not be bueno.
Yeah. Well, we're watching the markets close, guys. That's part of the reason, also on top of everything else, that we're doing Trading Wars. It just gets us more active in just really looking at what's happening across these markets, especially within the top 20. Reminder for those that are doing Trading Wars too, it is the top 29 coins, okay, all the way down to what was yesterday. Let me double check if it still is today, but I'm guessing it is Ethereum Classic. Yeah, so it's the top 29 coins. I mean, obviously, if you're just trading on your own, fine, do whatever you want. But if you are, trying to compete against everybody, it's the top 29 coins. That's $2 billion market cap. So if something changes and something else flops, where it's got over 2 billion and it goes to 30, whatever, but it's a $2 billion rule. So just a reminder. All right, cool. Let's start off with something fun. Fun to smash the likes. We like that. Fun to follow us on Twitter. We like that. We're on TikTok. Fun to follow us there. For sure, fun to follow us there if we don't get kicked off. Well, if I don't get kicked off there. And let's talk about FTX. We had interesting movements in money here. FTX, Thai prostitutes, and Chinese bribes. Caroline Ellison drops explosive allegations. In her second day taking the stand, Bankman-Fried's ex-girlfriend spoke about an alleged scheme to reclaim frozen funds. My God, why did he pick her? She is just not cute. At any event, collapsed crypto, but I guess then again, he's not.
I mean, he wasn't a great
Collapsed crypto exchange FTX tried to recover frozen funds from Alameda Research by using accounts registered to Thai prostitutes. The ex-Alameda Research CEO Caroline Allison told jurors yesterday in her second day of testimony. Ellison took the stand on Wednesday to tell jurors that FTX insiders tapped the sex workers in a bid to try and reclaim $1 billion with a B dollars worth of funds frozen since I was talking bees, frozen by the Chinese government. Ellison, who is his ex-girlfriend, admitted fraud related to the collapse of the FTX exchange back in December, further alleged that the identities of the Thai prostitutes were found by Sam Trabucco, former co-CEO of Alameda. We know what Alameda was, okay? Let's get into like what happened here. The funds were frozen by the Chinese government in response to a money laundering investigation that did not involve Alameda. So their money got frozen, right? A lawyer in China was hired to try and get the funds unfrozen, but was unsuccessful. When that didn't work, Ellison said that the team decided to send approximately, I just can't imagine sending money around like this. They decided to send $150 million in crypto assets to wallets believed to belong to Chinese officials. But she referred to it in coded language when it included it in a report with Bankman-Fried. She's the star witness. She alleged that Bankman-Fried told her to commit the crimes, blase blah. Crusader, this whole thing is like turning, I mean, this is, you want to talk about like Netflix documentary worthy, right? They're literally bribing Chinese officials. I wonder how that went though. Was there a phone okay, there has to be some sort of a phone conversation before you jump on the MetaMask and send $150 million out, right?
There's
I mean,
definitely the
it's like,
phone
hey,
call,
it just
right?
showed up. We don't really know, but we do have funds frozen. Like, are you going to make $150 million gamble? I guess if it's other people's money, maybe you would.
Maybe, right? But I think after seeing the not the documentary, it's a show. The show based on the success in the creation of Uber. It's called Super Pumped on Netflix.
Oh yeah, you're saying.
If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It's pretty fun. After seeing that show, right? Once you get to a certain status, you just make phone calls and be like, you know who you're talking to right now? Like, I'm the CEO of whatever, right? Like, make this happen right now. And that's the kind of privileges you get when you start making a level of money and you have a level of, money is power, right? And when Alameda and FTX were running at its all-time peaks, like they were making massive amounts of money. Everybody was saying that they were going to be the biggest exchange around. They were going to be, dethrone Binance and all this. Imagine the level of money and influence they could have with unlimited power, right? They had all access to everyone's funds and they could use it in whatever manner they wanted. But like, hey, we can make anything possible because we have unlimited amount of money here.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. I wonder, I would love to be a part of or to hear some of these conversations and what, like when you hear people talk about bribes and this, that, and the third, I wonder how open the conversation is. Is it just like they're leading it like, hey, I found your wallet address here and I've got an extra $10 million in USDC sitting around. Would you like me to send that to you? By the way, before you tell me yes or no, I've got a bunch of funds that are frozen over there, trying to figure out a way to get them unfrozen. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it this, or is it like, hey, I'll give you $10 million to unfreeze my wallets?
maybe, right? Maybe it's just kind of like, hey, I know you guys are having a holiday. I'm planning on doing a donation to your guys' campaign or to your guys' holiday, right?
Just
Just
need a
really
small
show
little favor
support on your whatever it is that's going on over there. And by the way, since so I want to work with you guys, I want to build this relationship and giving you all this money. I got this little problem that I need you guys to.
Yeah. Just I'll help you. You help me. It's not a bribe. It's just,
Yeah, I'm just giving you a gift, and then I'm asking you to do me a favor.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Just a little favor between friends. Nothing wrong with that. Smash that like button, fam, if you haven't already. Crypto Billy in the house. Good to see you. Did you see what Patriot Caveman said when I pulled it up a minute ago? He said, I'm about to make some wallets with Chinese names. No kidding, bro. Like it. Hold on. What is going on with my controller here? With my controller. Oh my God. My mouse. Hold that.
With my controller.
Well, that's what it feels like right now. It feels like it's just absolutely going wonky on me. There we go. Got it. All right, cool. So that's what's going on with FTX. Let's talk a little bit about just the overall market. It has felt really sideways, but we've actually lost quite a bit of market cap over the last week, I guess. Crypto Doom market crash erases $56 billion from top coins. In another volatile period driven by bearish financial news, the crypto market has faced another red week, with most projects registering meaningful losses in the last 7 days, despite a few outperforming the vast majority with extraordinary gains. Notably, the total crypto market cap index, this is like, hey, everything in crypto, registered $53 billion in losses. That's 5% in the last 7 days from press time on October 13th. The funny thing is, if you look, hold on, let me change this. If we look over to, and this is how we talk about how Bitcoin leads the way, right? If we just look at what Bitcoin did in the last week, oh, what do you know? Down 4.23%. What's the entire market? It's saying down 5%. I mean, Bitcoin leads the way. It tells the tale of where things are headed. It just, if you've been paying attention for crypto for any amount of time, it is that kind of leading indicator. Okay, it runs, then other things tail behind. ETH will run, then other things will run behind. It dumps, everything generally dumps even harder initially and then comes back. So just, we try to educate you guys as much as possible. If you're new in crypto, that is traditionally how these markets move. And you always have the one-offs. You'll always have the random information or news that comes out about a project that does something or has a partnership or whatnot that does really well. But that's generally how this works. I think there's one other thing I wanted to touch on that. Hold on a second. Let me pull it back up. Yeah, it was just kind of going over like who took the big hits. ETH, 17 billion in market cap losses, about 8.5%. This is highs to lows, right? That's not right this second. But the 7-day high, 200 billion, 7-day low, 183 billion. So that's a $17 billion spread there. BNB, 2 billion. Ripple, 3 billion. Solana 1.2, Cardano 0.8, Dogecoin, Tron, Toncoin, Polygon, etc. TRX, Bitcoin, and BNB were the best performers during the week's market crash. Not a surprise. Meanwhile, Solana, Matic, and Toncoin were in order, the worst, with higher losses adjusted by their size. It just says this evidence in capital migration to stablecoins and projects into lower ranks, considering the difference among the total crypto market cap, with the top performers excluding stablecoins, particularly Loom Network has surged by 500%. I don't know what the heck Loom Network is in the last 30 days, with accumulated gains superior to the 60% in the same analyzed week. So that's an example of like kind of one of those one-offs. Do you get concerned in the middle of a bear market when we move 5%? Because I sure don't.
No, man. It sucks that Ethereum was dropped so much, right? In considering the market cap, it was about like 15 something, 17 something. I thought I was gonna, keep going. It's dropped back down to like all the way to like 15, 20 or whatever it was. It sucks, but it's bear market times. We're making a big deal over, oh, did Bitcoin move up $300 and cross 27,000? Are we back at 26.7? Oh, we're moving we're literally talking about Bitcoin $300 up and down, Ethereum up $100, down $200. Like, these are baby moves in the crypto market. These moves are literally have no significance in the long scheme of things. In the bull run, the moves will be of thousands of dollars. The moves will not be a few $100 up or a few $100 down. When we pump, we're gonna pump thousands. When we dump, we're gonna dump thousands.
Yeah.
Man, people have forgotten that throughout this last year or so, because the markets have been so dead. They've been so steady. Who would have thought Bitcoin? I said it yesterday. Who would have thought Bitcoin would be so stable that we're literally just talking about 26,000, 27,000, maybe 28,000. Oh, we're going to drop down to 25,000. We're talking about a handful of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And that's what Bitcoin's moving. Those are big moves. Oh, watch out. Big moves coming, right? When in the bull run, we see Bitcoin going from last bull run, we saw in January when the bull run was starting, not last year, last bull cycle, when we started the run, we saw Bitcoin go from 20,000 to 40,000 in 1 month, in the month of January. And that is literally massive amounts of thousands of dollars in 30 days.
Yeah.
In the last 30 days, Bitcoin's moved like $3,000 most up and down. So people need to remember that.
We've talked about that, how as we get farther and farther away from 2009, right, it's going to get exponentially, the moves are going to get exponentially smaller. It's going to get more and more stock market-esque. I'm not saying that we're there right now. I still think we're going to see some huge moves in this next bull run. I think we're going to see some big moves even in the next few months, up and down and whatnot. But it definitely is starting to stabilize some more, and I think we're going to see more and more stabilization in the markets and then big moves.
it's going to be the last big one. It's going to
Yeah.
be the biggest one of them all, right? This is going to be the one where nations start really adopting Bitcoin, right? Once the spot ETF comes out, and that's what this whole next bull run is going to be fueled by. This whole next bull run is going to be fueled by the spot ETF, and that's going to be the narrative the entire time. The institutions just going out of full frenzy for Bitcoin because they realize of what is happening with the US dollar. And at some point, whether it's the end of this year or in 2024 or in 2025, the Fed will have to pivot and start easing and printing again,
Yeah,
especially
most
as we
likely.
start seeing what's happening around the world continue to escalate. There is no way that they can keep interest rates going high or higher and at the same time trying to get involved in those type of things. They just can't.
So far, for the record, by the way, we're approaching the end of the year. Your boy Keeper has been correct about them not printing money. I remember we had this conversation multiple times. Just want to remind you. The money printing is not kicked off.
The money printing is not kicked off. But also, you told me something about Bitcoin, gold outperforming Bitcoin. Kind of been right.
I don't remember that.
Of course, yeah.
I forget that.
I
don't know if that ever happened. I'm not really sure. Hey, I want to throw this out there. Crypto Gamer said, hey, take a look at the BTC versus Bitcoin chart. It's interesting. We're actually going to talk about that here in a little bit. So stick around. We're going to be diving into that. If you have not already, make sure to smash the like. If you've signed up, we've had a bunch of people sign up. Make sure to put your deposits in for Trading Wars. Starts Monday, 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Goes till 4 o'clock. We've had, like I said, you get 20% and 20% off your trading fees. So whatever you put in there, extra 20% coming your way. Make sure that you guys hurry up and do that. Don't let everybody else beat you to the punch. I think it's only for the first 100 people on the flat out 20%. The 20% off in terms of the trading fees are going to be for everybody. But make sure to jump in there, sign up, and put your money in so that you guys are ready to start trading on Monday. And people have been trading, and so you can trade all you want. I'm just letting you know the timer will actually start. If you guys want to start doing some test trades and whatnot, you're not limited to not being able to start till Monday. But Monday, once the show kicks off, boom, hit it, and you'll be competing against everybody there. All right, cool. Check this out. We have got some crazy stuff happening with the IMF and El Salvador. Let's pull it up here real quick. We have right here. Just in, critical Bitcoin warning from IMF to El Salvador. Will Bitcoin's official currency status change? The IMF has reiterated its stance on crypto, stating that it is a well-established fact that the agency does not support the use of Bitcoin as legal tender. This statement comes amid ongoing talks with El Salvador, which adopted Bitcoin as its official currency some time ago. The IMF emphasized that significant structural measures should be implemented in El Salvador. Although the details of these measures have not been disclosed, they are likely to involve significant changes in the country's financial and economic policies. In addition to these concerns, the IMF is negotiating a new financing agreement with El Salvador. The latest negotiation mission to the country was described as a very productive step, but both sides acknowledged they were not there yet in reaching agreement. Our relations with El Salvador have been very productive, Rodrigo Valdez, director of the IMF's Western Hemisphere Department, told Reuters. We only had one mission there, a negotiating mission, but we knew it would be a first step. When asked if a change in Bitcoin status was part of the discussions, Valdez said, I would prefer not to specify the exact measures that should be taken, but as a known fact, we do not consider Bitcoin as a legal tender. We do not support it in general. The Salvadorian government did not respond for a request for comment on whether removing Bitcoin status was discussed. This is not investment advice. So check this out. They're bullying. The IMF is trying to bully El Salvador into getting out of Bitcoin. They're basically saying here, the way I read this, they're saying, hey, we've got all these great things that we want to help you do. Because the IMF, literally, if you don't know how this works, and I'm going to really oversimplify this, but they're effectively loaning out money to these countries, right? If they basically do what abide by their standards and do a certain set number of things, right? And so what they're trying to do is bully El Salvador by saying, hey, we'll do all these great things in your country. All you got to do is stop using Bitcoin as legal tender. Why are they doing this, Crusader?
Yeah, man. I think the main reason why is once a country makes Bitcoin legal tender in their country and have it as a actual asset on their balance sheet, whatever it is, it sets a message to the rest of the world that the IMF doesn't like. It also, I believe, since they have a deal with the IMF, right? They hold the El Salvador peso or El Salvadorian dollar, whatever they have over there, right? Um, Along with their banking system, whatever the deal is, I forget what it's called. Point is, if they hold Bitcoin as a legal tender, I believe the IMF is then also forced to also hold a portion of Bitcoin themselves, so that they're almost like that liquidity partner, right? In the liquidity chain when you're doing when you're staking.
Yeah.
So the IMF doesn't want to do that. The IMF doesn't want to be holding Bitcoin, right? Because what kind of message does that send to the rest of the world? Yeah, we actually hold
It's
Bitcoin
legit.
because other countries are starting to use it. It makes the run away from the dollar, the de-dollarization, accelerate faster,
Yeah.
and they're trying to fight that right now. We already have the BRIC nations trying to push de-dollarization as fast as possible. They're trying to hold on to that as much as they can, and having this right now, it's El Salvador. Yeah, it's a small country, but who's next, right? Who's the next country? It could be bigger, and then it's one small country, two small countries, 10 small countries. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, now we have a whole continent. Oh, wait, now we have massive major powers holding it, right? Whoever they are and doing it, it runs out. It runs out of control really quickly, and
Yeah.
I think they are trying to keep that restrained as much as possible.
You notice that the United States like never really talks about the amount of Bitcoin that they hold. Never, right?
We
They
hate it.
Yeah, like, we hate it, but we got a ton of it, right? And they can say it's just to position themselves, this, that, and the third. I think that they see the writing on the wall. They know where this is headed. Do I believe that Bitcoin's going to be the world reserve currency? I don't, but I do believe that it's going to position itself
Trigger.
as a powerhouse in the financial sector, as it were. We always hear it talked about as digital gold, in that manner, as that financial asset that has intrinsic value, that's going to be hard money for the long term, that people are going to use as their 401k, or what I'm saying, like their long-term game plan to establish and continue to create and amass wealth. And so the reason that we talk to you about this all the time, guys, even though Bitcoin is the largest, which is probably going to have, versus the altcoins, smaller moves, the reality is it's also the most stable. It's also the one that's leading. It's also the one that has been already named not a security. There's so many beautiful things about Bitcoin that ultimately, you can't ignore it. The scarcity is going to be, those numbers, when you break those down, the number of Bitcoin versus effectively the number of millionaires, the number of billionaires, the number of the, just the average person that makes, 50 to 100 grand or whatever, right? It gets crumbs. Crumbs. You talk about whole coiners, and we're going to be some of the few, whole coiners out there. And I hope that other people that are watching are able to accumulate and become those whole coiners with us.
Whole coiners are going to be less than 1% of the world,
which is wild to me.
Less than 0.5% of the world. Like, you talk about the top 1% holds all the wealth.
Yeah.
Whole coiners are going to be less than that, right? That's how scarce it's going to be a whole coiner real soon.
Yeah.
And I've always said that I think Bitcoin could be the world reserve currency, right? World reserve asset, whatever it is. And the more and more I think about it, the more I learn, especially what Jack Dorsey is doing with the Web 5 and the Lightning Network and all these things. I think it becomes more and more possible. Also, the fact that we're seeing the dollar, right, the de-dollarization that we're seeing with BRICS happening, when that moment comes and the US dollar fails, right, or the rest of the world is just like, hey, we've had enough, we want to move away from this. What's up next? The yuan? Is it going to be the ruble from Russia, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to trust those currencies?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Everybody's going to want to trust their own currency, but nobody's going to want to trust somebody else's currency. And I think that's where Bitcoin then gets brought into the spotlight. Like, hey, neutral party,
neutral ground.
Nobody owns it, nobody controls it, right? Everybody, it's a free for all. All we got to do is just go out and buy it, and whoever buys the most controls the most. And nobody's gonna mess with it. Nobody's gonna inflate it, right? Nobody's gonna mess up your inflation or your tokenomics over there in your country,
right?
Because they're printing more of it. They're never gonna print anymore. And I think that's where the argument could lead for the countries to be like, yeah, I think this makes the most sense right now for me to move this direction. And yeah, they're always gonna have their national currencies are always going to exist, but I think the central hub of everything is going to revolve around the Bitcoin as the reserve.
Yeah, I could see that, and I could see them effectively, if that move ever happened, I feel like the certain, countries would try to incentivize. This is what I would assume would happen. Let's say that happens and the whole world comes to basically starts to come to a grinding halt because they can't agree, boom, bam, slam. That ends up being the agreement. Okay, we'll use Bitcoin as the world reserve currency. It's neutral, it's decentralized, right? And they come to that agreement, right? Well, the countries then are still going to want to be these world superpowers, which they know money is a big part of that. So what I would see happening is I would see the countries then incentivizing you to pay in Bitcoin to do a ton of stuff, i.e. taxes, right? Or forcing you to, right? Like, no, we're not talking about paying your taxes on the Bitcoin gains that you made. We're talking about pay me in Bitcoin. And then ultimately they're able to amass and become effectively the leader because they have the largest reserve of, and the value is so high. I could see it, dude. I could definitely see a case that could be made. I just think that at the end of the day, the different superpowers in the world, including the United States, are not going to like the idea of not just having that direct finger on the button on the printing press to be able to manipulate and move markets the way that they've done in the past. They're going to have to get creative with it and do it in different ways.
They're going to get creative, right? I think they're not going to have a one-to-one backed currency, right? The world, if Bitcoin was to become the world reserve asset, they're not going to be backing it like how they did with gold back in the day, where it's like 1-to-1, right? Kind of ratio. I think it's going to be a looser ratio, a more creative, like derivative of however much Bitcoin they hold. Their currency is more fluctuating, and they can inflate it or deflate it, do all the stuff, all the fugazi they do now, right? But still say, hey, at least we have this core amount of Bitcoin that is the country's, backbone. If all else goes to, fugazi, then we can always rely back on this amount of Bitcoin that we're holding. It's also going to incentivize a lot of countries to use more green energy to mine Bitcoin, because then the mining wars begin. Right? Every country is going to start mining and mining more as much as they can to accumulate it, right? Because it's the cheapest way to accumulate the Bitcoin. So it's going to revolutionize the entire world, the way the governments are working once the governments no longer have full control of the world reserve asset.
Yeah, that is a fact. Smash that like, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not already. Crypto Gamer, getting ahead of yourself, bro. But guess what's next? We're going to talk about your comment right here. GBTC discount, negative 16.59%. Here's the reality, bro. I'm going to guess the majority of people have no idea what you're talking about. Good news. We're here. We're here to explain it. So we're going to dive into it. Let's talk about exactly what Crypto Gamer has been so excited to talk about.
Before we jump into that, we got some comments here. Chemo in Crypto says, today is Litecoin's 12th birthday. The only blockchain with zero downtime. Proof of work is the hardest currency on the planet. Completely agree. And then Billy said, Bitcoin had downtime. Yes, they had downtime, I believe, back in 2011, sometime 12, super early on. Yeah. They were down for like a few hours, I believe, and then they restored it and everything was, but it was super early on. I was like, nobody was even on the network back then.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until, what was it, maybe a month or two ago?
Team Crypto was on during that time.
Yes. I couldn't remember what show it was, but somebody said that, and I was like, wait a minute, really? I did not know. And I think it was Miss Teen Crypto. So shout out to her. All right, cool. Let's talk about what's going on with the GBTC. All right. Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust discount to NAV narrows sharply to a 16.59% gap. We're going to explain this, okay? So Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust, known as GBTC, has witnessed a significant shift in market dynamics. In January, GBTC traded at a significant 48.31% discount to its net asset value. Today, that gap is narrowed to 16.59%, indicating changes in market sentiment and presenting potential implications for investors. All right, you guys might still be confused, but we're going to talk about it. All right, so effectively, net asset value serves as a financial barometer, indicating the per share value of a fund's underlying assets. In the context of GBTC, the NAV represents the value of Bitcoin it holds, adjusted for liabilities and divided by its outstanding shares. Simply put, here's the good part right here. Simply put, it's a measure of what each GBTC share should theoretically be worth based on Bitcoin's market value. So effectively, back in 2023, what was the it was in January. Yeah, January of 2023. Your shares would be worth effectively Bitcoin, because of the liability that they saw there, would be worth 48.31% of what the current price of Bitcoin. Now it's at 16 point, which is a huge freaking spread, right? Now it's at 16.59%. Crusader, care to explain why anybody even would freaking care about this? Why crypto gamers?
I think people are buying up. I think people are buying up shares. I think people are starting to see that, hey, they won the lawsuit right against the SEC to get approved to convert their shares over into a spot ETF for Bitcoin. And today is the day. They have until midnight today to say, hey, either happening or it's not. And they've kind of run out of excuses to deny it, right? They can't really deny it anymore. So it's like impending to possibly get approved here, unless some way, somehow they can pull some fugazi out of a magical hat and delay it. Maybe they can delay it, but they definitely can't reject it. And I think they're getting prepared for that. I think people are getting in on that discount and buying up as much as they can, so that when it converts over to the actual spot ETF at some point, whether it's today, tomorrow, or next year, they are already set ahead of time at a massive discount. And then I don't know what the payout is going to be. Maybe it's a 1-to-1. I don't know, but I'm sure it's going to be very profitable for those people.
For sure. And I think it also just shows confidence in what Bitcoin in the crypto space is. We're seeing it. I had to put a custom door together today for a customer that we're doing a basement for. And the guy saw I had on a coffee and crypto t-shirt. And he's like, hey, what's up with the crypto t-shirt? The gentleman that I was talking to, mind you, was probably 70 years old. Okay. He said, what's up with the coffee and crypto t-shirt? And I was like, oh, I'm really into crypto. Just kind of whatever. Gave him just a brief little, we got some social media channels and, into some Bitcoin mining and stuff. He's like, really? I've been in crypto 10 years. And okay. So immediately my ears perked up, right? I was like, he's either full of it.
60 years old.
He's either full of it, right? Or this dude is like not with what the time, I promise you he's 70. So a 60-year-old man at that point, right? 10 years ago, having the forethought to get into Bitcoin. So I challenged him a little bit. I said, really, what did you first buy Bitcoin at? And he said he bought Bitcoin at $300 and something. And very quickly in my mind, I was like, that's probably damn about spot on. I didn't pull up the chart and like challenge him on it. But then
what day and month was that?
But then I asked him, I said, well, how do you like to store your Bitcoin? And he's like, I mean, a hardware wallet. Why would I do it any different? And I was like, so you could tell, right? He's like, I've got an Exodus wallet. I've got a MetaMask. He starts rattling off Kryptonese to me. You know what I mean? And I was like, this dude actually knows crypto. And he said, and I said, so have you, amassed a lot over time? And he was like, I think he told me he owned like 14 bars, and he sold them all at once to retire. And everybody's got that buddy, right? And he tells me that his buddy had been just preaching this thing that was Bitcoin. And so he said, why not? And he said that he took the sale of one of his 14 bars and bought it in Bitcoin, and then later on put some money into ETH. And I was like, so you got a lot? And he's like, I got a little bit. And I was like, okay. And I said, let me ask you this. Why are you working at Menards? He started laughing, and he's like, doing it to kill time right now. Plus Bitcoin's only like 26K. Wait till it hits like 50 or 60. I might start selling it. I'll be on a beach. And I was like, hell yeah. I mean, so what I'm saying is like more and more people are, he was obviously on the front end of it.
Let's play that out. Let's say he sold the bar. Let's say, what do you think the profit on a bar would be?
I don't know how big the
$20,000.
No. Come on now. 20 grand selling a bar?
A bad bar, right?
Let's say it was the shittiest bar on earth, and he made 100 grand. Because come on.
Okay, 100 grand. I was trying to lowball, right? I didn't
All
want to
right.
give people
All
hope
right,
here.
fine. He made 50 grand. We'll go
He made
mid range.
50K.
He made
That was
50K
the
on the first
most
bar.
shittiest bar.
All right, cool.
And this guy, let's say he said he got in at 300, but let's say he didn't believe in it that much at that time.
Yeah.
And let's say he bought it at $1,000 when Bitcoin went up to 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Around beginning of 2017.
Yeah, he's got 50 Bitcoins in there.
He's got 50 Bitcoin, bro. That's
If
a
the
whole
bar
lot
was
of Bitcoin.
terrible and
Yeah.
he bought it at 3 times the price that he said he bought it at, I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say he's probably got hundreds of Bitcoin is my guess from the way
Yes.
that he was
But
talking. He was being very like
big
coy
a
about
lot
it.
of money.
I think, yeah. And then he mentioned, he's like, plus Uncle Sam's going to want his piece. And I said, well, Uncle Sam's piece is going to be a lot bigger when it hits 50K than it is now. And he's like, yeah, I know. But I'm just, sitting and waiting to cash out and
Bro,
chill
50
out.
Bitcoin at 27,000. I know we're a little bit lower than that, but just rounding.
Yeah, it's 1.3 million.
dollars.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
On a bad year, on a bear market.
On a bear market, on a terrible bar that he sold, and he bought it at 3.5 times the price that he told me. If he had a halfway decent bar, and he sold it at just for even 100 grand, which still is cheap, but it was 10 years ago. So 100 grand. Let's say he bought 300 Bitcoin because he bought them at $300. So 330 Bitcoin at the all-time high, right, which was 69K. It's like 22 million bucks.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, dude.
Yeah. So shout out to the gentleman at Menards if you're watching. I did throw him out our.
I think he wants to sponsor a crypto channel.
I threw him our handle. You know what I mean? Why not? Got to grab people where we can.
Put him in there. Say, hey, bro, maybe you want to join Trading Wars in your spare time, right? Have some fun. Sponsor the show.
Yeah.
Anything we can do to help.
Well, you know what I thought though at first. There's a lot of people that just instinctively like want to be a part of the thing that is crypto, and they'll like say something, and you'll be, oh, really? And then you ask them another question, and they give you the wrong answer, and you're like, nah, okay, bro, I'm tracking, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so
guys, I just want to remind everybody, smash the likes. Trading Wars is coming Monday at 2:45 p.m. Eastern time. If you're not signed up, the link is in the chat pinned at the top, and if you are signed up, make sure your deposit is in and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, and if you're not signed up, also you're wrong. Okay, so just make sure to jump in there. Let's have some fun. Like I said, even if you just put in $100, you get an extra $20, whatever. Give it a shot.
Yeah, exactly right. The only thing better than Trading Wars is the Bitcoin ETF getting approved. That's the only thing that can top Trading Wars right now.
Well, that would make Monday of Trading Wars pretty interesting. Friday it gets released. Usually weekends are pretty. So let's play this out. Well, here, let me read the next article real quick, and then we'll play this out. So Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, or no, I mean, I'm sorry, just the Grayscale deadline, the SEC deadline. Critical deadline, SEC has until midnight to appeal. See, here it is, though, to appeal. Grayscale victory on spot Bitcoin ETF. It says Fox Business journalist Eleanor Tourette has shared an important update regarding the lawsuit between the SEC and the Grayscale Investments. According to her, the United States SEC has until midnight to appeal the ruling. Here's the tweet. It looks like the SEC has until midnight tonight to appeal. If they don't, then it's 7 days from now, the case will be closed and Grayscale can start working with the SEC staff to get the process of approval rolling. So it won't be approved yet, but they will front run that, right? It talks about on August 29th when they basically, had victory over their, trying to reject their application, right? So let me ask you this, Crusader. If this plays out and it plays out tonight, let's say they don't appeal it. I bet they will.
They'll try to come up with something. I'll be very surprised.
They'll try to come up with something. If they don't,
yeah,
does the weekend rip?
I believe so. I think
just from people hearing about it.
No, that's it, right? Bull market is on at that point. Dude, think about it.
It's not even approved yet. Though.
No.
They said they still had to. You're saying it'll get front.
It won't be launched, right? Like it doesn't get approved and then just like, okay, boom, it's on the market tomorrow, right? But then everybody knows that whatever the time is to set it up and get it ready to rock and roll and put it out in the market, that time window is the window you have to buy Bitcoin, go long if you're trading or whatever else is, because the minute that hits the market and all the money starts flooding into it, it's over. The whole coiner conversation that we had earlier is out the window. You're not going to be able to buy a Bitcoin anymore. Bitcoin's going to rip probably from wherever it's at right now, 26,000, 27,000. We're probably going to hit 40,000 in no time. I would be surprised if we didn't. I'd be underwhelmed if Bitcoin doesn't hit 40,000 before any type of actual massive retracement for the price.
Yeah, I could see there being a massive retracement afterwards
At
as
some
well.
point, there will be some level of retracement. There's always going to be some kind, because there's going to be people that are front running this thing right now, just waiting for it. And when it happens, they're going to long it, right? They're going to ride it all the way to the top, and then they're going to eventually short it, and they're going to pull out, and then there's going to be some type of liquidity drop.
I agree with Kevin here. It might pump, but it'll hit the 30K ceiling.
If it doesn't break 30K ceiling on the spot ETF approval, like the actual spot ETF, I think the approval alone will take us to 30K, right? Once it launches to market, we're off to the races. We're 40K plus. It has to. It has to break 40K plus. Like, there's just no way that it doesn't pump that hard, right? When that when it actually hits the market, and we're seeing trillions of dollars.
Oh, when the money's actually flowing in
the market, when it actually all right, the spot ETF is live. People are buying it. Money, the hedge fund managers are like, buy, right? There's no way we don't crack 40,000 at that point. But yes, just the hype, right? Just the hype from the approval will definitely take us to 30K.
Patriot Caveman said, okay, account is funded. Patriot Caveman, congrats, bro. Glad that you
see how many people signed up. Let's see how
glad
many
you were jumping in
today.
Let's see where we're at.
We got about 3 more signups today, which is good. Great.
Okay.
Good to see it.
Cool. We have a number of different things also, guys, just as a reminder that we're going to be doing. One of our sponsors, Houdini Swap's going to be giving away some poof tokens, which will be fun. We're going to be talking a lot about them. They've been great to work with, and we like what they do. Effectively, it's a decentralized exchange where literally they used it earlier to transfer some funds, and you can't trace it, guys. Okay. It just poof, and it's there, right? They use Monero, but ultimately you would never know that unless you looked through how it works. But it's just like a regular decentralized exchange. Hey, where do you want it to send it to? Okay, I want to send it here, but it has an intermediary, which is Monero, and then boom, it shows up. And he actually sent us a message, said, yeah, now go trace it.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing, right? That technology with Monero and Bitcoin making anonymous has always existed. You can convert it from Bitcoin to Monero, and they have like a little interoperability scenario going on. But it's very difficult. You got to be very tech savvy to somewhat use these things. What Houdini is doing is simplifying that, giving you a nice, simple UI to use and make your transactions very untraceable. So that's the great thing about simple UIs. You don't even know what you're using; you just know it works.
Yeah, I would say the only downside that I've seen is that it takes 20 minutes or so. I mean, but there's stuff that needs to happen.
For
it was still cheap to use too. Yeah, no, for sure,
Okay, it's gonna take me longer than the 30 seconds or 5 minutes that I'm used to, right? But it's not trackable.
Yeah.
So let it take its 30 minutes. Let it take its hour, right? Even if it took an hour. Bank transfers right now. People complain in crypto all the time. Oh, that crypto is too slow, or that service is too slow. Bank transfers take days, and they're not private. They're not in your control at all. They're you're at the whim of somebody else. This is fully controlled by you and fully private. So even if it took a few hours, it'd be great. And it doesn't. It takes 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Crypto Fam, we love you guys. 2:45 on Monday. Make sure that you are there. Team Crusader is going to start off the process of taking an L. They're going to be starting that process on Monday at 2:45.
Even Jason Casper on his shows today said it was a wrap for Team Keeper. He's like, it's over for Team Keeper.
All right. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out what how it shakes out. I got my secret weapon, Ben. So he talked about it yesterday.
I got my victory cigar right here waiting, bro. Nice and wrapped, waiting.
Hey, you know what? You know what we need to do? I need to reach out and see where you remember my buddy that has the betting platform? I'm not going to name it right now because I don't know if it's ready. If he can track that, right? We need to get the group in betting on which team.
That'd be fun, making some side bets on
some side bets on stuff like
what team cannot,
what team can win, or like which trader is actually on their own going to be the highest P, and like just a couple like fun things that we could do underneath it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about it. All right, Crypto Fam, we love you guys. Just remember, question everything.
Trust nothing.
And until next time, hodl
like it's hot.
We'll see you soon.